You've probably been told that walking is the best thing for your heart. But here's the truth no one talks about. Many top heart surgeons are now saying that walking alone may not be enough. In fact, for some, it might even do more harm than good, especially if you're over 65 and dealing with sore joints, constant fatigue, or stiff legs that don't move like they used to. Walking might feel more like a burden than a blessing. But that doesn't mean you're out of options. Far from it. Today, I want to show you 5 simple, gentle movements backed by real medical experts that you can do right from the comfort of your home. No long walks, no stairs, just small, powerful actions that wake up your circulation, strengthen your heart, and gently restore the energy that everyday life has quietly worn down. If you've ever felt your feet go numb, noticed your legs swelling for no clear reason, or found yourself sinking into that heavy, sluggish feeling after sitting too long, please know, you're not alone. Millions of people in your shoes feel stuck. Like movement must mean walking, even when every step hurts. But today's message is different, because there are other ways, better ways, for you and your heart to stay strong, steady, and supported. So if you're someone who still wants to think clearly, move confidently, and live independently well into your 80s and beyond, stay with me. One small shift to today could change the way you feel tomorrow and possibly every day after. Let's start with something so simple, it almost feels too easy to matter. But don't be fooled. It's called the seated leg pump. And for many older adults, it's become one of the most effective and overlooked tools for improving circulation and easing the load on the heart. Imagine this. You're sitting in your favorite chair, maybe reading the paper or watching a show. Without standing up, you gently lift your heels, then your toes, back and forth like a quiet rhythm. What you're actually doing is waking up your calf muscles. And believe it or not, many heart doctors refer to those muscles as your second heart. Why? Because every time they squeeze, they push blood upward, back toward your chest, keeping it from settling in your ankles and feet, a common cause of swelling, cold toes, and even serious blood clots. When those muscles stay inactive, your heart has to work twice as hard just to keep blood moving through your body, especially if you're sitting for hours at a time. But here's the beauty of the seated leg pump. You can do it anytime, anywhere, while waiting at the doctor's office, chatting on the phone, or even sipping tea at the kitchen table. No equipment, no sneakers, no special schedule, just your own body saying, hey, I've still got some fight left in me. And I want to talk about something just as important as circulation, your mindset. A lot of people I've spoken to feel defeated when told to move more. They say, but I can't walk far. I lose my balance. I'm afraid of falling. I get it. That fear is real. And that's exactly why this tiny movement can be so powerful, not just physically, but emotionally. It gives you proof that movement doesn't have to mean struggle. It can mean reclaiming control, one small motion at a time. I remember a man named Ronald. He's 78, lives by himself, and told me walking more than a few steps made him lightheaded. He felt stuck. Until one day, his physical therapist introduced him to this little movement. So Ronald started pumping his feet every hour, right there in his recliner watching classic westerns. 2 weeks later, his legs weren't as swollen. He had more energy. And he said something I'll never forget. I finally feel like I'm part of my own recovery again. That's what this is all about. Not pushing harder. Not doing more, but moving smarter, consistently, gently, and with care. Your blood will thank you, and your spirit might too. Number 2, wall push-ups. You don't need a gym. You don't need any special equipment, and you definitely don't have to get down on the floor. But what if I told you that something as simple as gently leaning into a wall could help strengthen your heart, support your circulation, and ease the weight you've been carrying, physically and emotionally? Most people think push-ups are only for building big arms or sweating it out at the gym. But wall push-ups? They're a quiet game changer, especially for older adults who want to move more but need something safe and manageable. Here's how it works. When you press your hands into the wall and slowly bend your elbows, you're not just working your chest, you're also engaging your arms, your core, even your back. And those upper body muscles? They play a surprisingly important role in helping your blood flow freely, especially around your chest and back. where so many people feel tightness or poor circulation as they age. Wall push-ups also help your heart pump more efficiently, and they strengthen the muscles that support healthy breathing, which becomes more important with every passing year. Unlike walking, wall push-ups don't strain your knees, hips, or lower back. You're using your own body weight in a way that feels gentle but still gives you a sense of real strength. All you do is stand a couple of feet from the wall. Place your hands flat at shoulder height. Slowly bend forward, then push back. Even just 10 reps can wake up your entire upper body and get your blood moving. Now there's something else that matters just as much, and that's what's going on inside. Many older adults carry a weight on their chest that has nothing to do with muscle. I'm talking about worry, regret, the kind of heaviness that builds up over time. But when you move gently, when you breathe, stretch, and push, you're not just exercising your body, you're giving your mind a little room to let go. I've seen it happen. There's a woman I know named Margaret. She's 82. Her doctor told her to build up some strength, but she was scared, afraid she'd fall or hurt herself. So she started with just 5 wall push-ups every morning, right by her kitchen counter. A few weeks later, she told me something that stuck. She said, "I thought my body was too old to do this, but now I realize it was just waiting for permission." That's what movement like this can offer. Not just strength, but permission. Permission to trust your body again. Because even in small moments of motion, you start to feel different. You carry yourself taller. You breathe deeper. And you remember, maybe I can still do more than I thought. Number 3, seated leg lifts. If you've ever dealt with poor circulation in your legs, swollen ankles, or cold feet that just won't warm up, this simple habit might quietly change everything. You don't need to leave the house. You don't need any equipment. All it takes is a sturdy chair and about 5 minutes of your time. But the benefits? They go far beyond what most people expect. Seated leg lifts work the largest muscles in your body, your thighs, calves, and hips. And when you activate those muscles, something remarkable starts to happen. Your blood begins to flow more freely, especially upward from your legs back toward your heart. That matters because for many older adults, that upward journey isn't easy. When blood struggles to move up from the lower body, it leads to swelling, cold feet, and that heavy drained feeling you get after sitting too long. But here's the truth. Just lifting your leg a few inches off the ground while seated, that small action, is enough to engage your circulation. Do it rhythmically, one leg at a time, and soon you'll notice your feet feel warmer, your knees feel steadier, and your heart doesn't seem to be working quite so hard. Over time, this simple act can lower your resting heart rate. It can improve your stamina. And most of all, it gives your body a quiet reminder. I'm still moving. I'm still here. There's also something deeper going on. Seated leg lifts don't just move your muscles. They send a message to your brain. I'm still in control of my body. And for anyone recovering from illness or living with limited mobility, that message is powerful. Because when you feel stuck, anxiety can creep in. But a small, calm, repeated motion can bring rhythm back into your day and purpose back into your movement. One lift at a time, you rebuild something important, your sense of agency. I think of George. He's 79, and after losing his wife 5 years ago, he told me he barely moved from his chair, except to get up for meals. Then one afternoon, while watching television, he started lifting his legs during the commercial breaks. At first, it was just something to pass the time. But after a few weeks, he said something that caught my attention. I didn't feel so stuck anymore, he told me. I wasn't just waiting for the day to end. I felt like I was participating again. That's the quiet miracle of these kinds of movements. They don't make a scene. They don't require applause. But inside your body, they're delivering a message to your heart, your vessels, your muscles, and even your mind. That message is simple. You're still strong. You're still present. You're still choosing to care for the engine that keeps everything running. And when you begin to understand that strength doesn't always look like effort, you begin to redefine what progress really means. Maybe it's not about walking faster or lifting heavier. Maybe it's about sitting tall in your chair, lifting your leg, and choosing with intention to take one small step toward vitality. That's not just exercise. That's wisdom in motion. Number 4, hand grip squeezes. When most people think about heart health, they picture big muscles, long walks, maybe even breaking a sweat. But here's something you might not expect. One of the most powerful tools to protect your heart? It's sitting right in the palm of your hand, your grip. That's right. The simple act of squeezing can help train your heart, lower your blood pressure, and strengthen your circulation, all without ever getting up from your chair. Hand grip exercises aren't flashy. You won't feel like you're doing much. You probably won't even break a sweat. But the science behind them is surprisingly strong. When you squeeze and release with intention, you're doing more than just moving your fingers. You're activating tiny arteries in your hands and arms. This creates what's called a vascular response, a signal that helps reduce your systolic blood pressure. That's the pressure your heart uses to push blood through your arteries. And that's why many cardiologists now recommend hand grip therapy, especially for older adults who can't safely do heavier workouts. It matters because after age 70, high blood pressure becomes one of the quietest and most dangerous health threats. You might feel fine on the outside, but inside, your heart could be working overtime. And that added strain can lead to fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, even long-term damage if left unchecked. But just a few minutes of grip training each day can give your heart space to rest and recover. It's simple, it's safe, and it works. There's also a powerful connection between hand strength and longevity. Studies show that people with stronger grips tend to live longer and stay independent longer too. Why? Because your grip isn't just about your hand. It reflects the health of your muscles, your nerves, your coordination, even your confidence. When grip strength fades, it can be a signal that balance and control are beginning to slip. But when you train it, even with something as small as a tennis ball or a soft stress ring, you send a different message to your body. I'm still strong. I still have control. I'll never forget Ellen. She was 83 when I met her at a senior center. She carried a little yellow stress ball everywhere she went. But she didn't use it for stress. She used it for her heart. 3 squeezes every time she sat down. 3 more when she stood back up. That little habit became her daily ritual. And what surprised her the most wasn't just the strength in her hands. It was the energy she felt throughout her body. She told me, I used to feel like my heart was racing, even when I was doing nothing. But now, it feels like my heart is working with me, not against me. That's the beauty of grip training. It doesn't ask for your legs. It doesn't demand your balance. It simply meets you where you are. Whether you're sitting by the window, chatting on the phone, or watching your favorite show, you can be quietly strengthening your heart and improving circulation. No complicated routines, no special gear, just one small movement repeated with care. And maybe the best part? It gives you back a little control. Because as we age, we let go of many things, our speed, our habits, even our confidence. But this is one thing you can hold on to. Literally, one small squeeze at a time. And sometimes, that's all it takes to feel a shift. Number 5, seated leg raises. You don't need to run marathons to keep your heart young and your blood flowing strong. Sometimes it starts with something as simple as lifting your legs while sitting down. That's right. Seated leg raises may look easy, but they're one of the most underestimated movements for people over 70. They help improve circulation, strengthen the lower body, and protect your heart, especially if you spend long stretches of time sitting. As we age, blood tends to pool in the legs when we stay still too long. That forces your heart to work harder to pump it back up. And over time, that extra effort can increase the risk of swelling, clots, and high blood pressure. But seated leg raises act like a gentle pump for your lower body. They get the blood moving again, ease pressure in your veins, and help deliver oxygen to the muscles that need it most. And the best part? They're easy to do, anytime. You can raise your legs while reading the newspaper, sipping your morning coffee, or chatting with a friend. There's no equipment, no weights, just you and your body. All you do is sit comfortably, keep your back straight, and slowly lift one leg at a time. Hold it for a few seconds, then lower it back down. That's it. A small move, but what's happening inside is anything but small. Your thigh muscles, your quadriceps, start to activate. And these muscles play a major role in helping your body push blood back toward your heart. The more you engage them, the less strain you place on your heart. And that's a powerful return for such a quiet effort. But there's another benefit most people don't talk about. When you're able to lift your legs with ease, you start to feel more capable. You're more likely to get out of a chair without help, to walk with more confidence, to trust your body again. And that confidence, it doesn't stop at your legs. It affects the way you move, the way you interact with others, even the way you sleep at night. Because when your body feels capable, your mind feels more at peace. I remember a man named Harold. He was 78 when he started doing seated leg raises after a minor stroke. At first, he told me it felt silly. He asked himself, what's the point of this? But just a few weeks later, things began to change. He was walking to the mailbox with less effort, climbing stairs without getting winded. And most of all, he said, I didn't feel useless anymore. I felt like I was doing something again. That's the real gift of this movement. It's not about looking younger. It's about holding on to your dignity. It's about reclaiming your ability to move on your own terms, in your own time, without fear. And that's something no one can give you. You earn it, one lift at a time. So if you felt stuck, tired, or afraid to move, remember this. Your legs aren't asking you to run. They're simply asking you to raise them, gently, a few inches at a time. And when you do, you're quietly building strength, restoring circulation, and supporting your heart in a way it will absolutely thank you for. Final thoughts. If there's one thing I've learned in my 85 years of living, it's this. Real change doesn't need perfect health. It doesn't need fancy equipment, and it certainly doesn't need a lot of time. What it does need is just a little curiosity, a little willingness, and the belief deep down that your body still matters, because it does. In fact, I'd say that's when it matters the most. You see, so many people our age are made to feel invisible. The world moves fast, the noise gets louder, and slowly we begin to shrink. But the truth is, inside every senior, yes, even the ones with sore knees or a slower step, there's still a spark of vitality, of strength, of resilience. That spark never leaves. It just waits for you to notice it again. And that's what these 5 gentle practices are really about. They're not just physical movements. They're messages. Messages that say, you're still here, you still matter, and you still have the power to take care of your own heart. Every time you raise a leg, press your hands together, or lift your heels just a little off the ground, you're telling your body and your spirit, I'm not done. I'm still showing up, even in the smallest ways. That choice makes all the difference. And let me tell you, those small ways, they add up. They build momentum. They build confidence. And over time, they build peace. I know life isn't always easy at this stage. Maybe you've lost someone you love. Maybe your body doesn't move like it used to. Maybe some days you just feel tired of it all. And that's okay. That's human. But in those quiet moments, I hope you'll remember what we shared today. There are still things within your reach, still choices you can make to help your blood flow, to steady your heart, and to bring your body just a little more ease. You are never too old to do something kind for your heart. And you are never too far gone to try something gentle, simple, and healing. Even if you can't walk like before, even if your energy isn't what it once was, there is still hope. There are still options. And there are still ways to care for the beautiful body that has carried you all these years. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Pick just one of the 5 things we talked about. Not all 5, just one. Maybe it's the fist squeeze. Maybe it's the heel-toe pump. Heck, maybe it's a quiet breath, held with intention. Start with the one that feels easiest, and let yourself feel what it does, not just in your chest, but in your mood, in your mind, in that deep place where you remember what it feels like to be fully alive again. Because healing doesn't always come in big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it happens in a quiet kitchen chair, while you gently lift your leg and feel the warmth return to your feet. Sometimes it happens in the stillness between 2 breaths, when you realize you're still here. And that is something to be proud of. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts matter deeply to us. So don't hold back. Reading your comments gives us the motivation and encouragement to keep going. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.